Welcome back. But before I start with the show, I didn't ask the producer, but I hope they give me this little opportunity. We're thinking of opening a museum for old traders with nice stories and old share certificates in Vosburg. I've got a big building here of about 150 squares that I can use for that. So if anyone has got an old share certificate with a nice story and a nice photo or something about the stock exchange, please drop me an email. Please contact me. We want to start this. You can almost say a room of remembrance of all those legends of the stock market so that we can keep these stories going and keep it for the future. Because some of my old readers, 80 years plus, they just say, France, all the stuff is lying in boxes and nobody's interested in that. Well, I decided France will be interested and hopefully we can make work of that. So please join us and assist us to make this project a success. Well, let's look at Bitcoin. Fred asked about Bitcoin. Now, you know, Fred, Bitcoin is one of those stories in the market that for weeks and for months, it just went up. I mean, look at what happened. From December, from about 19,000, it went all the way up to $65,000. And for me, the important thing was, I warned about Bitcoin because it was a lamp pole formation after a lamp pole formation. It was like just one-way traffic to the top. And what made me nervous was, can you see this little Arami candle? And sometimes you get these tiny warnings after prolonged rallies. And there was plenty before. And every time it just rallied above that and carried higher. But then something happened. Look at this breaking of this gap. There's a gap, but there's something else. And that is what we call an island reversal. Can you see there's a tiny gap there? And there's a gap. Let's just draw that line in for you, Fred. Then you will quickly see what I'm talking about here. There you are. I just want to draw that in. There's the gap. What happened? One morning, suddenly there was another gap, and it jumped over this gap. This is what we call a beautiful island reversal. And an island reversal sometimes tell you that something bigger is in the making. And this is exactly what happened. This gap opened up at around, let's call it $60,000. That was when it dropped from about 65 to 60,000. Since then, look what happened. It sold off. It was a beautiful dragonfly. Don't you remember? This is a daily chart with a strong bullish candle. But what happened? This gap, the market could not close it. And since then, it fell off again, another gap. And here we are now. We can see all these lower shadows. People are trying to support Bitcoin, but they did not have enough, you can almost say, backing the instrument higher. So what is the bottom line here? Always look out for an instrument that give you maybe a reversal here, like that, an island reversal, and take note of that. But I would like to say the following. If you have a Bitcoin and you're happy with your profit, and even any share, if you have a share that treats you well and you're happy with your profit, always lock in the profit, unless you are a long-term investor and say, I'm going to keep it for 5 years and every pullback I'm going to make use of a buying opportunity. But look what happened here. Bitcoin from 66,000, let's say, to 30,000 in a matter of, let's say, 15 trading days. That's a massive pullback. So, well, for the guys that wants to buy Bitcoin again, looks like it found some support around this 30,000. Look at that lower shadow. There's some support here. So if you want to buy it, Fred, there's the place to buy. I will use this little line there. There you are, because I will still honor this lower shadow. So above 40,027, I will buy it again. Look at this big stop loss. The stop loss is 29,567. Massive stop loss. And what's your targets to the top? 42,288, 43,496, and then this gap, I think, can maybe be a possible target. That is between 46,690 and 48,822. So yes, a nice rally, but stop losses. But for me, Bitcoin, I cannot understand it, and for me, the volatility is just too much for my, let's call it, risk profile. So, Fred, enjoy, but always look out for an island reversal, and this was now a classic reversal. Well, Murray wanted to know about Durban Roodepoort Deep. Let's have a look at Durban Roodepoort Deep. Remember, the rand is very strong. That's why some of these gold counters maybe are struggling, because they're all beautiful rand hedges. And that's why some of them are maybe struggling a little bit to find their feet. But there's Durban Roodepoort Deep, trying to find its feet. And I like this chart. Why? Because it's a beautiful saucer pattern here. Look at this beautiful rounding bottom here. There's a gap. I think this is a gap that maybe needs to be watched while it's open. And because that is between 16.19 and 15 Rand 90, while this gap is open, the momentum is to the up. But I think maybe if the rand remains so strong, we can maybe see this gap closed, and that's maybe the place to buy it. But for you, if you're sitting on the stock, and that I don't know, you didn't say that, Murray, I will actually, if I haven't got the stock and you are a momentum chaser, you can always chase the momentum of this little line there, and there you are, above 17 Rand 88. I will definitely use this stop loss, and that stop loss is sitting at 15 Rand 90 as my stop loss if it does not go higher, because we all know gold stocks are very volatile. Not as volatile as Bitcoin, but they are very volatile and they are cyclical. So yes, targets above this level can maybe be the high at around 20 Rand. Let's have a look at Impala Platinum. Robert asked about that. Robert, let's have a look here. Impala. There you are. Well, who thought that the platinum counters can come under pressure? Well, this is exactly what we're seeing here. There was a double top. It went up to 297 Rand. It touched the other day 300 Rand. And since then, it lost momentum. And for me personally, that is a case of a stronger Rand. Rand is actually forcing these shares down. But let's have a look here. Remember, they had massive rallies. Let's have a look there. You are. It was the double top. It's always the low there. The low was 246.60. When it broke below 246.60, it can go lower. And what is my target of this? If it goes lower and it plays out from that line, from the top to the neckline, let's do the projection there so that you can have an idea. For me personally, I think these stocks are just waiting for a weaker rand, then we can see some strength. There you are, maybe all the way down to 210 Rand 29. So, Robert, I will not buy it unless this resistance line of this double top formation comes into a support again, and that will be above 246.60. We can maybe look at buying again if you believe that it can bounce from there, but then use the low of this candle, 231.38 as your stop loss to protect capital, and then maybe we can see. And even Anglo Plat looks exactly the same. Beautiful stock, had beautiful rallies, and then suddenly it becomes a little bit under pressure, and I think that's what's happening. But let's just maybe put it in perspective. Look what happened to these stocks. Just from October last year, I mean Impala, well, let's say from July last year, from 114 Rand, almost 300 Rand. In October, November, from 140 to 300 Rand. That's 100% gains. You need to watch out, because these stocks need to pull back to make it healthy again. Let's have a look at Spar. Here asked about Spar. Estelle likes the stock. She believes also it's a nice long-term buy, but of course, she's quite a young lady, so she can look out for some long-term buys. For me, at my age, I sometimes need to look more at the speculative side, because I'm not 30 anymore. Let's have a look at the Spar here. I just want to zoom it out a little bit. Same thing here, look at it, double top formation. There was the top at around 211. Look at these ugly red candles. And what are we seeing now? We're flirting around with some support lines here that's quite important. we're just going to draw that one in. There you are. We're almost on a very strong support line. There you are. Now here I will actually look out for this line. If the stock can bounce from this line, I'll be happy. Then you can maybe nibble it, because then this double top formation will maybe work a little bit longer. But for me, what's worrying me is that if this double top comes into play, and it almost came into play the other day, and that was below 182.90, it can take the stock way down to this 160 level. I just want to see if there's not a gap around there. No, there's not a gap around there. So it shouldn't, if it goes down, it can probably go down to this 168 level. So here, if you want to buy the stock, I will say use this support line as your guidance. So buy as close as 182.76 that you can. Use this as your stop loss, and that will be 180.26. Then you can use that as your stop loss, and your targets to the top will be 187.52, 189.89, 191.10, and 193.06. And interesting enough, I had a reader popping in here the other day on his way back to Johannesburg, and he asked me, if I talk about long, what does that mean? Long means then to buy the stock. Long is just a speculative term for buying the stock on a very short-term basis. So you buy it here at the bottom, you want to sell it at the top. So if you always hear the word long, you can just put in brackets maybe the word buy. And even short, you can also between brackets put in there sell. So there you are. Well, guys, thank you for watching the show. We did it. This is like an educational show, but it was nice. Watch our website www.fransdeclerc.com for more information, and we will chat again. Enjoy the rest of the week.